Alternate Controls brings Android-inspired software buttons to iOS. Now, a lot of people would look at me crazy if I said, hey, that would be cool to have software buttons like Android on my iOS device, but that is exactly what this jailbreak tweak allows you to do. It is called Alternate Controls, and as you can see, yes, you have Android-inspired software buttons on your home screen here. And these are actually Android L inspired software buttons. So this takes on the shape of the new Android redesign, as you see there. Now you can always go back into the settings once you install this tweak, and you can change up those icons to look like the traditional Android, like this. So that really is scary, isn't it? But you can use the modern icons from Android L like that, just with a flip of a switch. Now, once you go into the preferences for alternate controls, you see a kill switch at the top. You have show touches, which basically will show when you touch one of these buttons here. So I'm going to touch this button here, and you see when I touch the button, the little white display or the touch sensor, the feedback that you get from the screen there. If I turn off the show touches, watch what happens. You don't get that little white touch sensor or touch display on the screen. So it's going to be up to you whether or not you like that. I personally don't particularly care for it, but I can see why some would. Now, you also have invert color, so if you don't like the black color scheme, you can switch it around and have the black icons instead of the black border and the black background. But again, that's going to be a personal decision. I personally like it to be black. If I'm going to use this, I like it like this. So just another personal preference. Now, activation-wise, what you normally can do, or what I recommend that you do, is to use the swipe location option here. And that allows you to swipe up from the bottom of the screen, either from the left side, the middle, the right, or anywhere, or none, if you prefer not to use swipe location. Or you can use an activator gesture, and I've actually set that up for a double tap on the status bar. Big surprise, right? And that will activate and display alternate controls there. So you're probably wondering, Jeff, what exactly does this tweak do? Like, why is this even useful? Well, I'm sorry it took so long to get to that part, but what this tweak does is it allows you to perform several things. Really, it imitates the home button, first of all. So that middle button is like your home button, takes you right back to the home screen. You can even tap and hold on it, and yes, Siri is invoked just like that. So that basically is just a complete copy of the home button. A double tap on it does not, however, invoke the app switcher. So it's not a complete one-to-one copy, but it does allow you to invoke Siri by tapping and holding, and to get back to the home screen by just tapping on it. Now, the right button, the little square button, allows you to open up the app switcher. So instead of a double tap on the home button in the middle, you just tap the square and that'll open up the app switcher. But there's a little more than meets the eye there with the square. If you tap and hold on it, you can actually switch the two-app toggle. You can turn that off or turn it on. So if I tap and hold again, look at the top. You see toggle two apps enabled, and then you see toggle two apps disabled. Now, you're probably asking, what is toggle two apps? Well, I thought you had never asked. Toggle two apps basically is what the left button is used for. So let me open up two apps. I'm going to open up the Safari browser, and I'm going to open up, let's see, how about the App Store? So I have two apps open back to back, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use that left button and watch what happens. Just tapping on it, and I can switch back and forth between two apps. So that's actually really handy, because if you're trying to pseudo multitask, or you need information from one app and you're using another app, well, you can quickly switch between those two apps. And can't recall, at least, any tweak that allows you to quickly switch like this just with a button press between two apps. So that's actually really handy, and I really like that feature there. That's a really good feature, to be able to quickly toggle between two apps. Now, obviously, if you're running an app like Tage or any sort of multitasking app where you can swipe to switch between apps, you can do that. But I think this is probably the fastest way to switch between apps, just tapping this little button. And you probably saw that little menu that came up earlier. If you tap and hold on this button, you get this little pop-up menu that allows you to go directly to an app. So if I want to go directly to Cydia for that matter, or the settings, I can just tap on that and open that right up. Now, if I disable the swap between two apps, as you see there, all this will do is just take me back through the entire chain of apps like this until I reach, I guess, the end. We'll see. You keep tapping. Yeah, it looks like that's the end. Yeah, so it's grayed out. There's nothing else to tap, and that's pretty much it. So, folks, there are some additional options here. You have dismiss on touch. So basically, when you touch the screen, it dismisses like that. Pretty simple. Or dismiss on button press. So when you hit the home button, actually, no, that was wrong. Sorry. I'm boostified. All right, dismiss on button press when you hit a button on the actual little alternate controls like that. There you go. Not the home button. You have vibrate on touch. You probably heard the vibration during the video, maybe, if my microphone picked it up. And then you have the toggle to apps, which, of course, you can toggle on or off using this little option here. So maybe if you go out of the settings and come back in, we'll see if it actually toggles. Yes, it does. So there you go, folks. It's alternate controls. It is a really interesting tweak. I mean, it brings, you know, the Android style buttons, the software buttons to iOS, but they're used in a way that actually kind of makes sense in a roundabout way. I do like the ability to quickly switch between two apps. I think like the home button functionality is kind of silly, like why? And so is the app switcher functionality for that matter. But I do like the ability to quickly switch between two apps. If your home button's broken, I guess this could be a possible remedy for that to some degree. And there's probably other uses too, but you're going to have to be the deciding, you're going to have to make the decision, in other words, on that personally. So it is alternate controls, ladies and gentlemen. It is 99 cents on Cydia's Big Boss Repo. You get the Android L type of buttons, or you can go back to the old school Android buttons if you want to do that. You can choose between black and white buttons. You can activate using activator gestures. You can choose to go toggle between two apps. You can use the back button to access a whole list of apps, and it supports all orientations. Folks, let me know what you think about alternate controls down in the comment section. This is Jeff with iDownloadBlog.